When the body speaks, how hidden emotions create physical pain. The invisible weight. Most of us are taught to think that pain is a purely physical phenomenon. A headache means you didn't drink enough water. A tight chest means you need to breathe deeply. Stiff shoulders, probably just bad posture. But what if our bodies are not just malfunctioning machines, but sensitive communicators of unspoken truths? This video is a journey into a concept many of us overlook, that the body is not just a passive victim of illness, but an active messenger of emotional suffering. When we repress what we feel, anger, grief, guilt, sadness, jealousy, those emotions don't vanish. They go underground. And eventually they speak to us through our organs, our skin, our bones. The mind that forgets on purpose. Our brains are clever, sometimes too clever. They know how to protect us from the pain of being fully honest with ourselves. We might be furious about being overlooked, devastated by someone's indifference, or humiliated by failure. Yet we tell ourselves it doesn't matter. We distract ourselves, justify or rationalize the situation. We do everything but feel. This kind of forgetting is not accidental. It's strategic. We are wired to avoid emotional threats to our self-image or stability. But just because we're not aware of an emotion doesn't mean it isn't there. And the longer it stays buried, the louder it gets in other ways. The body becomes a substitute for emotion. Here's where it gets interesting and painful. What the mind refuses to process, the body absorbs. If you don't acknowledge your heartbreak, it might not stay in your mind as sorrow. It could move into your chest as tightness or fatigue. If your anger is unwelcome, it could travel to your lower back as chronic stiffness. If anxiety isn't named, it could settle in your stomach and upset your digestion. In this way, emotional repression doesn't protect us. It redirects the damage. It transfers the emotional burden to the body, which then becomes the battleground for our unresolved inner conflicts. Symptoms as emotional clues. We often go to doctors seeking relief from symptoms, headaches, neck pain, skin flare-ups, insomnia, and many times treatment helps. But when issues persist without clear medical causes, we might need to ask a deeper question. What is this pain trying to say? A migraine may not just be a neurological glitch. It might be rage that's been bottled for years. IBS might not only be about what you eat, but about a life lived in chronic fear or guilt. Skin conditions can flare not just from allergens, but from emotional stress we buried under a smile. Understanding our bodies in this way doesn't mean ignoring medicine. It means complementing it with insight. It means seeing ourselves not just as patients, but as whole people with inner lives that shape our biology. Cultural pressure to be fine. Modern culture has trained us to be emotionally neat. We're rewarded for being strong, rational, put together. We're discouraged from showing anger, sadness, or fear. As a result, we become experts at hiding, especially from ourselves. But this self-silencing has a cost. Every time we deny what we feel, we're essentially pushing that energy somewhere else. And the body, being the last place it can go, becomes the storage site. The pressure to be fine also makes us distrust our own emotional radar. We second-guess our sadness. Am I just being dramatic? We suppress our resentment. It's probably my fault. But the truth is, feelings don't disappear just because we ignore them. They morph, evolve, and return, often in the form of physical tension, fatigue, or chronic ailments. Emotional honesty as healing. So how do we begin to undo this? By doing something radical: listening. Not just to our thoughts, but to our bodies. That headache that always comes after a certain conversation. What is it trying to tell you? The pain in your chest when you lie down at night. What's being held there? One helpful exercise is to ask yourself in quiet stillness, if this body part could speak, what would it say? It might sound strange at first, but give it a chance. Ask your shoulders, your stomach, your heart. What are you holding? What are you afraid to express? The answers may surprise you. The shoulders might say, I'm tired of carrying this secret. The stomach might whisper, I'm terrified of disappointing people. The chest might say, I need to grieve what I lost. This is not mysticism, it's deep psychology. It's about letting the unspeakable find a voice. The return of the repressed. When we begin to feel what we've long avoided, something changes. It's not always comfortable. Repression served a purpose after all. It protected us from overwhelming emotions we didn't know how to handle. But now as adults, we have more tools. We can name what was once nameless. We can let the truth rise slowly, gently, patiently. And as we do, the body begins to release its burden. The pain doesn't vanish overnight, but it often softens. We might sleep more deeply, breathe more freely, stand taller, because the body's no longer carrying messages that the mind refuses to read. Rebuilding trust with the self, emotional repression disconnects us from ourselves. It teaches us to ignore our intuition, silence our inner child, and bypass our needs. But through the practice of listening, we rebuild that trust. We begin to believe our own signals again. We stop asking, "Am I allowed to feel this?" and start saying, "This is here. Let me hold it." And when we do, healing becomes not just a medical journey, but a personal, psychological, and spiritual one. We don't just treat symptoms, we reconnect with our humanity, a body that speaks, a mind that listens. Your body is not betraying you. It's trying to help you. It's been carrying what your conscious mind couldn't face. Every ache, every twitch, every flare-up, it could be the language of emotion waiting to be understood. You don't have to be fluent in this language overnight. Start small, be curious, ask questions. Let your mind and body become allies, not enemies. The next time pain shows up without a clear cause, don't just ask what's wrong with your body. Ask what might be unresolved in your heart. That simple shift could be the beginning of real lasting healing.